I never thought a clumsy thumb swipe at 2 a.m. would lead to me sitting across from my ex-girlfriend's mother 6 months later, listening to her son, my former best friend, tell me he never wanted to see either of us again. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to where this beautiful disaster started. Back before the family dinners turned into war zones. Before I had to choose between the woman I was falling for and every relationship I'd built over the past decade. Back to one stupid, accidental like on a dating app that changed everything. My name is Ryan Chen, 30 years old, graphic designer, living in a cramped apartment in Brooklyn, with a cat I didn't want but inherited from my ex. That ex would be Jessica Caldwell. We dated for 3 years, lived together for 2, and broke up 8 months before this story begins. The breakup was mutual, or at least that's what we told people. The truth? She wanted marriage, kids, a house in Westchester with a white picket fence. I don't know what I wanted. That was the problem. At 29, I was still figuring out who I was. And Jessica was already 5 steps ahead, planning a future I wasn't sure I wanted. "You're emotionally stunted," she'd said the night she packed her bags. Not angry, just exhausted. "You're almost 30, Ryan. When are you going to grow up?" She wasn't wrong. After the breakup, I threw myself into work. Freelance design projects, late nights at my laptop, the kind of existence where days blurred together and the only social interaction I had was with my seamless delivery guy. My apartment became a cave of unwashed dishes, empty coffee cups, and the persistent smell of loneliness. My best friend Marcus, who also happened to be Jessica's younger brother, tried to get me out of the apartment. He'd show up unannounced, bang on my door, physically drag me out into the world. "Dude, you smell like depression and old takeout," he said one Saturday. "You need to get back out there." We'd been friends since college, roommates, best men at each other's hypothetical weddings. "I'm not ready," I protested. Marcus rolled his eyes. "It's been 8 months. My sister has a new boyfriend. You need to move on." That information hit harder than I expected. I went home that night, poured myself 3 fingers of whiskey, and did what every lonely, slightly drunk man does at 2 a.m. I downloaded a dating app, Hinge, because apparently that's what adults use now. I scrolled mindlessly through profiles. 26-year-old yoga instructors who loved travel and brunch, 32-year-old lawyers who looked terrifying and accomplished. Everyone seemed to have their life together in a way I definitely didn't. Then I saw her. "The profile," said Diane. 45. The photos showed a woman with warm brown eyes, shoulder-length auburn hair with distinguished silver streaks, an easy smile that seemed genuine. She wore a leather jacket in one photo, jeans, and a vintage Talking Heads t-shirt in another. She looked cool, confident, real, in a way the other profiles didn't. Her bio was simple but perfect. "Newly single after 22 years. My son says I need to get out there. This feels terrifying and ridiculous. But here I am, art history professor, love jazz, terrible sci-fi movies, and my garden. Not looking for games too old for that." Something about her honesty got me. The vulnerability beneath the confidence. Most profiles were all bravado and filtered selfies. Hers felt human. My thumb hovered over her photo. I stared at her smile, at the intelligence in her eyes, at the way the light caught the silver in her hair. Then, my cat, Mr. Whiskers, a name I'd inherited and never changed, jumped on my lap. I jerked. My thumb slipped. I accidentally hit shit, I muttered, staring at the screen in horror. The notification popped up immediately. "You and Diane liked each other. Start a conversation." My stomach dropped as I looked at her photos again. Really looked. That smile I'd seen at 100 family dinners. Those eyes that crinkled when she laughed. The small scar above her left eyebrow, she told me once, it was from falling off a bike when she was 12. Oh God. Oh no. This was Diane Caldwell, Jessica's mother. The woman who'd hosted me for dozens of family dinners, who'd made lasagna and always saved me the corner piece of brownies, who'd given me career advice over wine while Jessica did dishes, who'd hugged me at the breakup and whispered, "You'll always be family to us, Ryan." My phone buzzed, nearly giving me a heart attack. "Diane, well, this is unexpected." "Hi, Ryan." I stared at the message for a full minute, my face burning with embarrassment. Of all the people on this app, this was a nightmare. "Ryan, oh my God. I'm so sorry. That was an accident. I didn't realize it was you until after I I couldn't even finish the sentence. How do you explain accidentally liking your ex-girlfriend's mother's dating profile without sounding like a complete creep? Diane, relax. I know it was an accident. Though I have to say, I'm a little offended you didn't recognize me immediately. Do I look that different from the woman who used to make you lasagna? Despite my panic, I smiled. That was so Diane, turning an awkward situation into a joke. Ryan, you look great. Different. I mean, not bad different. Just, you look really good. Diane. Smooth. Ryan. Very smooth. Ryan. I'm dying here. Diane. Don't die. I need someone to laugh about this with. Can you imagine if Marcus found out? Ryan. Please don't tell him. Diane. Your secret's safe. Though I have to ask, what are you doing on a dating app at 2 a.m.? Can't sleep? And just like that, we started talking. It was supposed to be one conversation. A weird, funny story we'd both forget by morning. But Diane was easy to talk to. Always had been. Over the next 2 weeks, we texted sporadically. Nothing inappropriate. Just friendly. She told me about her divorce finalized 6 months ago, after 2 years of separation. Her ex-husband Richard had left her for a colleague. The kind of midlife crisis cliché that would be funny if it weren't so painful. 22 years, she wrote one night around midnight. I gave him my 20s and 30s and 40s, and he left me for someone who's never heard of Nirvana. I don't know if I'm angry or just exhausted. Ryan, you're allowed to be both. Diane, are you always this wise? Or is it just past midnight wisdom? Ryan, strictly past midnight. During the day, I'm a disaster. Diane, good to know you're consistent. I told her about my existential crisis. About feeling like I was sleepwalking through my life. About Jessica being right. I was emotionally stunted. But I didn't know how to fix it. About waking up at 30 and realizing I'd spent a decade optimizing my career while forgetting to build a life. You're 30, Diane wrote. You're supposed to be figuring it out. That's the whole point of your 30s. Anyone who tells you they had it all figured out at 30 is lying. Ryan, did you have it figured out at 30? Diane, God, no. I was pregnant with Marcus, married to a man I was already growing apart from, teaching adjunct classes for poverty wages. I was terrified every single day. But I pretended I wasn't. That's what you do. Ryan, when did it get easier? Diane, I'll let you know when it does. There was something about talking to her that felt different from talking to anyone else. Diane didn't judge, didn't try to fix me, just listened and shared her own mess in return. It felt dangerous. Not sexually, at least not at first, just emotionally dangerous. Like I was forming a connection I shouldn't be forming. 3 weeks after the accidental, my laptop died. Right in the middle of a project deadline. Just completely bricked. I panicked. Called every repair shop in Brooklyn, all booked for days. I was spiraling. Imagining lost clients, ruined reputation. Then I remembered. Diane was good with computers. She'd built her own desktop, helped Marcus troubleshoot his gaming rig. Ryan. Emergency. Laptop dead. Client presentation tomorrow. Any chance you're free and remember how to resurrect electronics? 3 dots appeared immediately. Diane. I'm in the city today anyway. Coffee shop in Soho. Bring the patient. I should have said no. Should have found literally any other solution. But I grabbed my laptop and headed to Soho. I found her at a corner table in a dimly lit cafe that smelled like espresso and old books. She wore dark jeans, ankle boots, a gray cashmere sweater. Her hair was down, falling past her shoulders in loose waves. She had reading glasses perched on her nose as she marked up a manuscript. She looked up when I approached and smiled. The prodigal graphic designer, she said. Let's see the damage. I sat down, acutely aware of how close our knees were under the small table. She pulled my laptop toward her, started pressing buttons with confident efficiency. When's the last time you updated your OS? She asked. I don't know. She gave me a look over her glasses, amused, exasperated, fond. Ryan, I know. I'm terrible at adulting. You really are. But she was smiling. She worked for 20 minutes, her fingers flying over the keyboard, muttering to herself about drivers and system preferences. I watched her, mesmerized, the little furrow of concentration between her eyebrows, the way she bit her lower lip when she was thinking, the elegant movements of her hands. This is wrong, I thought suddenly. You're noticing things you shouldn't notice. She's Jessica's mom, Marcus's mom. This is wrong. But I couldn't stop looking, couldn't stop noticing the curve of her neck, the faint scent of her perfume, something jasmine and sandalwood, sophisticated and warm. There, she said finally, turning the laptop toward me. Should be fine now. But seriously, Ryan, update your software. Back up your files. You're one hard drive failure away from losing everything. Relief flooded through me. You're a lifesaver. I'm a mom. It's the same skill set. She closed her laptop, took off her glasses. You want coffee? You look like you haven't slept in days. That obvious? You have that freelancer pallor. I remember it from grad school. We ordered coffee. Then somehow we were ordering lunch. Then it was 3 hours later, and we were still talking about work, about art, about terrible sci-fi movies. She told me about teaching, about a student who'd written a brilliant paper that made her cry, about her book on feminist interpretations of Renaissance art, about her garden and how the tomatoes weren't growing. I told her about my design work, about the client from hell who kept asking for nonsensical revisions, about Mr. Whiskers sleeping on my chest even though I was allergic, about my sister asking when I'd get my life together. Jessica hated sci-fi, I said without thinking. Diane's expression shifted. Something shuddered. We probably shouldn't talk about my daughter. Right. Sorry. It's not that it's forbidden. It's just weird. You dated her for 3 years. You were at our house every Sunday, and now we're she gestured between us. Whatever this is. What is this? She looked at me. Really looked, and something passed between us. An acknowledgement. A dangerous recognition. I don't know, she said quietly. But it feels like something. My heart was pounding. Diane, I should go. She stood abruptly, gathering her things. This was nice, but we should probably maintain some boundaries? Yeah, of course. She paused, her hand on her bag. Ryan? That accidental like? Yeah? I'm glad it happened, even if it shouldn't have. Then she left. I lasted 4 days before I texted her. 4 days of thinking about nothing else. 4 days of starting and deleting messages. 4 days of telling myself this was insane, inappropriate, a betrayal. Then at 2 a.m. on Thursday, I gave up fighting. Ryan, I can't stop thinking about you. The message sat there, delivered, unread, for 6 hours. 6 hours of hell. I went through every stage of panic. Then, at 11 p.m., Diane, this is a bad idea. Diane, you dated my daughter. Ryan, I know. Diane, Marcus would never forgive either of us. Ryan, I know. Diane, I'm 15 years older than you. Ryan, 16. And I don't care. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Diane, I can't believe I'm about to say this. But do you want to get dinner? Somewhere we won't run into anyone we know? Ryan, yes. Diane, this is insane. Ryan, completely. Diane, Friday, 8 p.m. I'll send you the address. And Ryan, we're just talking. Just 2 friends having dinner. Nothing else. We both knew we were lying, but then something happened. 2 days before our dinner, Marcus called. Aunt Catherine is having her 60th birthday party Saturday. Family thing. You should come. My stomach sank. Catherine was Richard's sister, which meant Diane would definitely be there. Saturday afternoon, I found myself in a house in Westchester, surrounded by Caldwells, desperately trying not to look at Diane across the crowded living room. She wore a navy blue dress, her hair up, pearl earrings. She looked elegant and untouchable. We'd been texting for weeks. We're supposed to have dinner tomorrow night, and now we were pretending to be nothing to each other. Jessica was there with Derek, the finance boyfriend. Marcus was playing the perfect son, and I stood there with a beer, trying to figure out how to exist in this space. An hour in, I escaped to the kitchen for another beer. The kitchen was empty, quiet. I was standing at the sink when I heard her voice behind me. This is torture. I turned. Diane stood in the doorway. We could leave, I said quietly. Separately. No one would notice. Everyone would notice. She moved into the kitchen, maintaining careful distance. But the room felt small suddenly. How are we supposed to do this? Do what? Pretend. She looked at me. Pretend I'm not thinking about tomorrow night. Pretend I'm not watching you across the room and wishing I could. She stopped herself. This is insane. Then, let's be insane. I took a step toward her. She didn't back away. Ryan, we're at my former sister-in-law's birthday party. Your ex-girlfriend is 30 feet away. My son, I know where we are. I took another step. We were close now. Too close. I could smell her perfume. Tell me you don't feel this? I can't. Her voice was barely a whisper. God help me. I can't. We stood there, inches apart, both trembling with the effort of not closing the distance. The kitchen door was open. Anyone could walk in. Marcus, Jessica, anyone. Tomorrow night, I said. 8 p.m. Don't cancel. I won't. Promise me. I promise. Then Marcus's voice from the hallway. Mom? You in there? We sprang apart like teenagers. Diane grabbed a wine bottle from the counter. I turned to the sink. Marcus appeared in the doorway. There you are. Kat's about to cut the cake. He stopped, looking between us. Something flickered across his face. Everything okay? Fine, Diane said, her voice perfectly steady. Just getting more wine. Ryan needed ice, I added stupidly, holding up my warm beer. Marcus looked at us for another beat, then shrugged. Cool. Come on. We followed him out. We didn't look at each other for the rest of the party, but I felt her awareness of me like electricity on my skin. The restaurant was in Red Hook, far from anywhere either of us usually went. Small, intimate, the kind of place where the lights were low and the tables far apart. Diane was already there when I arrived, sitting at a corner booth, a glass of red wine already half empty. She wore a black dress, simple, elegant, devastating, sleeveless, showing her shoulders, hitting just above the knee. Her hair was down, falling in waves. Hi, I said, sliding into the booth. My hands were shaking. Hi. She smiled, nervous. I almost canceled 3 times. Me too. But you came. So did you. She laughed softly. I guess we're both gluttons for punishment? We ordered food neither of us would eat, drank wine that loosened our tongues, talked about everything except what we were really doing. Tell me something true, she said at one point, her eyes locked on mine. Something you don't tell people, something real. Instead, I said, I think I wasted 3 years of Jessica's life because I was too scared to admit I didn't love her the way she deserved. I knew after year 1 that it wasn't right, but I stayed because it was comfortable, and now I can't stop thinking about her mother, which makes me either the world's biggest asshole or the world's biggest idiot. Probably both. The words hung in the air. Diane's breath caught. Your turn. Something true. She was quiet for a long moment. Then, I've been alone for 2 years. Truly alone. And I convinced myself I was fine with it. That I didn't need anyone. That I was too old to feel. Her voice broke. And then you accidentally liked my photo, and I felt something I thought I'd never feel again. And that terrifies me more than anything has in years. The air between us was electric. What do we do? I asked quietly. We finish dinner. We pay the check. We go our separate ways and forget this happened. Is that what you want? It's what I should want. That's not what I asked. She looked at me, tears in her eyes. No, it's not what I want. I reached across the table, covered her hand with mine. Her skin was warm, soft, trembling. She didn't pull away. Instead, her fingers curled around mine. Then let's not do what we should do, I said. Let's do what we want. And what about Marcus? Jessica? Your entire history with my family? I don't know, but I know I don't want to walk away from this. From you? This is going to end badly. Her grip tightened. We're going to hurt people we love. I know. And you're still willing to do this? Are you? She looked at me for a long moment, and I felt it the moment the decision was made. The point of no return. My place is 20 minutes from here, she said. We barely made it through the door. I'm not going to give you details. Some things are private, but I'll tell you this. She was self-conscious at first, apologized for things that didn't need apologies. The stretch marks from 2 pregnancies. The softness that came with being 45 instead of 25. I kissed every inch of her skin and told her she was beautiful until she believed me. And when she whispered my name in the dark, it wasn't just a name. It was a confession, a surrender, a leap into the unknown. We fell asleep tangled together, and for a few hours, the rest of the world didn't exist. We lived in that fragile bubble for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of stolen moments and secret texts and nights at her place or mine. 3 weeks of learning each other. 3 weeks of falling deeper into something we both knew couldn't last. But the truth always finds a way through. Marcus showed up at my apartment on a Sunday morning. I opened the door in my boxers, half asleep, expecting a package delivery. Instead, I found my best friend, his face white with shock and rage. "Tell me it's not true," he said. His voice was shaking. I knew immediately. "Marcus, tell me you're not fucking my mother." I couldn't. Because I was. And it was more than that. But how do you explain that? "How long?" he demanded, pushing past me. "A month. Maybe 6 weeks." "A month?" He laughed, bitter and broken. "Jesus Christ, Ryan. My mother? You dated my sister for 3 years. You were at our house every Sunday. You were practically family. And the second you and Jess break up, you move on to my mother? It wasn't like that. It just happened. Nothing just happens. Ryan." He was shouting now. "You made a choice. 100 choices. Every time you texted her, every time you met her, every time you touched her, you chose the one thing you knew would blow up every relationship in your life." He was right. There was no defense. "I love her," I said quietly. Marcus stared at me. "What?" "I love her. I know how it sounds. I know how it looks. But it's real, Marcus. It's the most real thing I've ever felt. I didn't plan this. Neither of us did. But it happened. And I won't apologize for loving her." "You're delusional." He shook his head, backing toward the door. "You're fucking delusional. This isn't love. I don't even know what it is. But it's sick. It's not sick. She makes me want to be better. She sees me. Stop. Just stop. I don't want to hear it. We're done. You and me. Over. 12 years of friendship. Gone. Marcus. Please. And stay away from my mother. You've done enough damage." He left. The door slammed. And I stood there watching my best friend of 12 years walk out of my life. Diane called 2 hours later, crying so hard I could barely understand her. "Jessica knows," Marcus told her. "She called me and God, Ryan." She said things. Terrible things. She called me a predator. Said I was grooming you. Said I seduced my daughter's ex-boyfriend. She said I was pathetic. Desperate. That I'm destroying the family. She said she never wants to see me again. I'm so sorry. My chest was tight. She's my daughter. And she won't even talk to me. She hung up on me. She blocked my number. My own daughter blocked me. Diane, maybe they're right. Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm just a lonely middle-aged woman, having a crisis, and dragging you down with me. Stop. That's not true. How do you know? Because I know you. And I know what I feel. This isn't just a crisis or a mistake. It's real. She was quiet for a long time. I can't ask you to choose me over them. You're not asking. I'm choosing. Ryan, they're your family. Marcus is your best friend. You've known him since you were 18. And I choose you. Over all of it. I choose you. You shouldn't have to choose. But I do. And I'm choosing you. Don't ask me to walk away. I can't. We talked for hours. About the fallout. About what this meant. About whether love was worth this price. Neither of us had answers. But we had each other. It's been 6 months since that conversation. 6 months of living in the aftermath. It's not a happy ending. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Marcus still won't talk to me. I've texted him a dozen times. He leaves me on read every time. Jessica blocked both of us on everything. Changed her number so Diane couldn't reach her. Diane's tried writing letters that come back unopened. Diane's ex-husband is using our relationship as ammunition, claiming she's unstable and not fit to host family gatherings. Family holidays are a minefield. Diane wasn't invited to Thanksgiving. Christmas was just the two of us, eating Chinese food and pretending it didn't hurt. Her sister calls occasionally, torn between loyalty and disapproval. Why did it have to be him? My parents don't understand either. Why her? Why not someone your own age? We're excluded from weddings, baby showers, the casual fabric of family life. The scandal has faded into general knowledge. We're that couple. The cautionary tale. Diane cries sometimes, late at night. Misses her children in a way that makes my chest ache. Questions whether choosing me was worth losing them. I don't have answers. I just hold her and hope it's enough. But here's what else is true. She makes me coffee in the morning exactly how I like it. I water her garden when she's too tired. We watch terrible sci-fi movies and fall asleep on her couch. She challenges me to be better, to grow up, to stop hiding from myself. She reads my proposals and tells me when I'm underselling myself. She pushes me to value my work. And I'm learning. To be present. To be brave. To be the man worthy of the woman who risked everything for him. My work is better. I'm taking on better clients, saying no to projects that don't align with my values. I'm becoming someone I actually like. Last week, something shifted. Marcus sent a text. Mom's birthday is next month. She'd want you there. I'm not ready. But maybe someday. It's not forgiveness, but it's not silence either. It's a crack in the wall. The possibility of someday. And Diane, when I showed her, cried and laughed at the same time. Maybe, she whispered. Maybe someday. We don't know if this will survive. The stigma, the family damage, the 1,000 small ways the world tells us this is wrong. The judgment from strangers who do the math. The whispers. The stares. But we're building something anyway. A life that doesn't fit the template. A love that cost us more than we planned to pay. Sunday morning breakfast in bed. Her reading glasses while she grades papers. My design files across her dining table. Plants everywhere. Jazz playing softly. Coffee and comfortable silence. The ordinary intimacy of building a life with someone. And here's what I know. That accidental wasn't an accident. It was the universe giving me a chance to feel something real. Even if it's messy. Even if it's complicated. Even if it ruins us. Because sometimes the most beautiful mistakes are the ones we never regret. Even when they cost us everything. Especially then, I'd choose her again. Every time. In every universe. Despite it all. Because she's worth it. Because we're worth it. Because love, real love, is worth fighting for even when the whole world tells you you're wrong.